Hello again, everyone. I'm Richard Weil, and I'm the CEO and owner and principal of National Restaurant Consultants. And we welcome you in. I believe this is the 167?
164.
164th edition of the NRC Helpful Moment. And as always, we have Mr. Brian Devine from Cafe Fuel and Top Line Management. Brian, how are you on this chilly April spring day here in the Colorado Rockies? I don't think we got out of the 50s here today. It was pretty chilly.
Well, the wind is a little better, so I'm happy.
A little wind. So I'm up here in Boulder, Colorado. Woo, too much coffee. With Eric Aubusson.
Yes.
And Eric is the principal and owner with his wife Lisa of Holy Crepe here in Boulder. And they've been doing business for quite a few years, and they just went brick and mortar in the last 4 or 5 months, really since December of 2021. And it's very exciting for them. And so he is we've done great American success stories here prior on the NRC Helpful Moment. But I'd like Eric to share a little bit of his time. He came to the U.S. with less than $10 in his pocket and where his travels are. And he's worked in New York and very successful time when he worked a very, very high-end restaurant here in the Denver area. A lot of people have heard of Elway's. John Elway's Steakhouse. He worked both at the airport and the original Elway's in Cherry Creek. But Eric, tell us a little bit about your story coming to the U.S. and what you've done in the American dream. So please.
Yes, well, I came in December 1996 in Aspen. I had a job offer in Aspen working for a French chef. I didn't know nothing about America, Aspen or nothing. No money, $200. And a round trip ticket. That's it. And so I was in 1996, and I've been here 26 years now, and it's been pretty amazing experience. So yeah, I worked about 2 years in Aspen for Maurice, a French chef, and then I moved to New York, worked for Jean-Georges in New York for a couple of years, and moved to Hawaii for 1 year. And all nice places, no regrets. And then came back to New York, and then I've been back in Colorado for the last almost 20 years. I was mostly server most of the time to improve my English, and I couldn't find really what I was looking for as a chef until I worked at Jean-Georges. Jean-Georges was such a great experience and a mentor for me. In a way, he was acting and working every day was very amazing, and I always wanted to go back to be a chef because of him. So I came back to Boulder, work as a server, and then I got a job as an executive chef at the Boulder Country Club. That was 19 years ago, and I was there for over a year. Then I had a second child, I had to stop. Then I worked in Denver. I sold cars for a while too. I went off the industry, see if I could do something else. And then I went back and worked for Airways, amazing place for 12 years. Cherry Creek, and then I worked at the airport. And I started a food truck 5 years ago. So I was working both food truck and Airways as a server, and we've been doing food truck for 5 years, and then we suddenly opened a restaurant last year. So with the pandemic,
it's a very fantastic story. He and his wife Lisa have operated Holy Crepe, as he said, as a food truck, and they went brick and mortar essentially in December. I think that the common thread here, and I'll ask Eric this question: What's the customer experience mean to you? Because I know when we've been talking, that's really near and dear to your heart. Talk about your philosophy when it comes to the customer experience.
Well, I think it's crucial, especially these days. You have to be different than everybody else. And I know you guys talk about it in another vlog. Listen, how to get people to come back to you. And I think the customer experience is crucial for this because you have to be different, and if you are like everybody else, nobody's going to remember you. Nobody's coming back to you. So food, of course, is important. Value is important, and that's when I think the customer experience is part of the value you give to the customer. That's what someone's going to remember when it comes to you, especially the first time. You have to have a wow factor, I think, so people come back. If you don't have it, it's going to be hard to compete.
Not the Wi-Fi factor, everybody. The wow factor.
The wow.
I'm going to translate that
Yes.
one.
So I think for us, being French restaurant is it's not like it's easy to have a good experience, but I think especially with crepes, we like to do the crepes, in front of people. So there's some activity, some action. The smell also is very important in a restaurant, and we have that. For us, the music also can be very important. It's part of the theme, and we realize that people really like the old school French music, cafe, and so this is very important, to create some kind of experience. Try to take the people away from where they are. Like, if you do Italian, French, Mexican, I think it's the same. You cannot travel right now in France, with the COVID and everything. So can you bring the experience back to the restaurant? So music is important. The vibe, smell, of course. The food has to be authentic.
Let's talk about authentic. Whose recipe is that crepe recipe?
This is my grandmother's recipe. I tried famous chefs' recipes, and I came back to my grandmother's. It meant so much more for me. She's alive too, so she's great.
Really? How old is your grandma?
She just turned 93 last week. So
happy birthday, grandma!
Yeah. So
how do you say that in French?
Bon anniversaire, grand-mère.
Oui.
So it's been so cool, to have to know what we are doing, and it's been pretty successful. So yeah, customer experience is crucial. You want people to come back. To me, that's the bottom line. So if you can have, the decor here is not special yet.
You know what? It doesn't have to be right now. I think what most important is that you welcome. We've talked about this. And I've watched this afternoon. I've been here at Holy Crepe for a few hours today, and they really subscribe to the look at me, smile at me, talk to me, and thank me with all their guests. Look at me, smile at me, talk to me, thank me, and I think that's the genuine hospitality of making people feel welcome. This is French themed, and I think more importantly, we're in a college town, Boulder. University of Colorado is right at the doorsteps, so it's bringing something that's unique and memorable. And I think we talked about that. How do we create memorable, right?
Yeah, because of the wow factor. Sometimes people, this is their first crepe. They never had a crepe before, so they have this one, and it's very authentic. So it's like wow. Or people they've had crepe before and still wow because it's better than most. Or also because they went to France, they went to school there, they visit there. So they have some great memories. And the fact they eat the crepe, that it brings them back like years ago, and people thank us all the time because of that. Like some great memories of being in France. And for me, this is great. What we're selling is love, basically, that's what I'm trying to do every crepe, it has to be special, So
Brian, flip to you. What do you think? What do you think?
Thanks for all of that today. I hopefully, if you've watched one of these before, you probably know what I'm going to say. But stories sell more than any other medium. And when you have a story like Eric does, where you have your grandmother's recipe, that's what people can connect with. So make sure that whatever your story is, make sure people know what it is. So when you have people that come in, and let's say you just put it onto your menu, or put it somewhere in the restaurant, so people kind of know the basic story, then rather than, oh yeah, there's this great place that I just had some food, they can tell the story that you've given them that they can connect to, so that they can say, oh, you're going to love it because it's this grandmother's recipe. It's just fantastic. So you're adding to what people can talk about as well as just the experience. So whatever your story is, and if you feel like, gosh, I don't have a great story, come up with one. It's all just, how do you tell the story? And just think about that process, because having that terrific experience, that amazing food, the smells, the sounds, all of that is vitally important. And if you can add that extra little piece with the story, it makes it easier for people to not only remember you, but to talk about you. You've got a huge advantage. And then that's also something that can be put into outbound marketing and not just referral marketing. So it is a huge, huge opportunity. I always want people to remember stories sell. So when you can utilize a great story like what you have, Eric, please.
How was your crepes today?
Amazing.
Amazing. There we go. We got a couple of customers just leaving, and they're both smiling and saying amazing. And that is the story. And I agree with you, Brian. I think it is all about the story, the unique experience. And, you know, we wish Eric and Lisa the very best. We're going to see what we can do to help increase customers, retain customers, and most importantly, improve that cash flow and profitability. And that's why we're here this afternoon. But
Thank you so much.
you're welcome and thank you for being here today. And Brian, that's what I have today. Eric, anything else?
I don't know. No, I mean,
No.
I'm happy to be with you and the team. And
Yeah, and Sandy's here from NRC, Sandy Clark, who's been on our helpful moments. So, très bien, monsieur.
merci beaucoup, monsieur.
Merci.
Merci beaucoup.
Okay, au revoir.
Au revoir, Brian.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.